I mean, I tried to lobby for more RNG personally. What do you mean? Well, I thought that instead of crafting set armor pieces, you could just tell the game that you want to craft a helmet and you get one at random. You mean like totally random? Yeah, like any helmet possible in the game. Like a loot box? Yeah, but instead of loot inside the box, it's your head. This is exactly why you aren't in charge. Ladies, gentlemen, and masters of all ages, when it comes to the things that we care about in life, we all have our own opinions. That is how we show that we care. Even if our opinions are misguided, they are only there in the first place because we spend so much time thinking about the thing that they relate to. Tomato, tomato, you wouldn't care how to pronounce it if you didn't care about eating them. And I only like them when they've evolved into sauces, so call them red juice knobs for all I care. The point is that everyone here cares about Monster Hunter. Everyone who talks about Monster Hunter cares about it to a certain extent, and while this often leads to a lot of fun discussions, it also occasionally leads to people just being completely weird about the thing that they love, insulting it based on non-existent facts, or even just phrasing arguments in a way that is unnecessarily dickish to the creators of the game. Criticism is fine, it's allowed of course, but what's most important here is how you phrase it, because when you start your criticism by saying something along the lines of "this review is out of spite," it makes it hard to take any of the words you're about to say seriously, which in theory is what you want people to do. People to take your words seriously. Today I'm going to be going over some of the strangest or just flat out worst opinions that I've seen about Sunbreak since the release of Title Update 1, and while I don't hate or even dislike any of the people who made these statements, I do think they need a little bit of time to calm down and rethink their mannerisms. So without further ado, Gallius, this is the worst update. How about next time don't lie about the amount of monsters being added? You said 7, but there are only 4 new ones. I hope Monster Hunter 6 doesn't pull this garbage. Several doesn't mean 7. Since when does 7 not mean 7? Okay, for anyone who didn't see what happened there, the person who posted this original comment fully understood the word several to be the word 7. They aren't the same word, they mean different things. If you've gone the whole time thinking that they keep saying there will be 7 monsters added to the update, then I guess it would be fair to be unhappy about this. But that is due to your own lack of reading comprehension, so I'm struggling to even give the benefit of the doubt on that. That said, even in the world where they did say 7, if they had said 7, calling it the worst update is hilarious to me. What other Monster Hunter update has ever had 7 monsters? Literally none of them. What other Monster Hunter has even had 4 monsters? The closest would be the updates for base Monster Hunter Rise, if you count the Apex monsters as being new monsters, but seeing as these were Rampage exclusives at the time, I struggle to even count that, honestly. The point is that this is far from the worst update. No matter how you spin it, that's just an exaggeration. Not only was there 4 monsters not previously in the game, but also an entire endgame system added and a new tier of anomaly monsters to give you more challenging fights as well. I still can't get over the several is 7 thing though. Look, misunderstandings happen, but how do you double down like this when someone responds to tell you what you're missing? How do you see them type out the word several and still say, no, that says 7? Just take the loss and move on, alright? Gallius? Okay with Random Quest, but Curio Random Augment was nightmare for non-hack player to min-max build. Thank you for your hard work, but please don't put Talisman Augment RNG in next title. Okay, I can understand wanting less RNG as a general statement, but some RNG is a staple of developing an endgame loop, especially in an RPG. Without RNG, you would have your perfect build within an hour, hunt for a week, then get bored and move on. Whether we admit it or not, a lot of what makes hunting so addictive is the marginal power upgrades that we can get as we keep going. They aren't guaranteed, they never have been. Charms were random in earlier Monster Hunter games, decorations were random in World and Iceborne, and in Rise and Sunbreak, talismans and now the armor augments have some randomness to them as well. The thing about that though is exactly what you mentioned, min-maxing. It's unnecessary. It is a goal to chase, of course, something to make you keep wanting to play, to make you keep feeling good about marginal upgrades, not something that you should be expecting to hit before the game really starts. I can kill a high-level afflicted investigation monster in under 10 minutes with a talisman that has 3 of 8 extender and having no armor augments on at all. Why do you need to be perfect? What do you genuinely gain from a perfect set? Slight time reductions on your quest, that's all. And while this is a valid goal, the only people who should actually be upset about this system being RNG are speedrunners, because for them it is a competition, and for the rest of us, we're just here to hunt monsters to the best of our ability, improving our skill and enjoying the experience along the way. Your build does not have to be 100% offensively perfect, it just has to be a vehicle to give you the most enjoyment you can feel from hunting personally. If that means it's full of utility, that means it's full of utility. Min-maxing doesn't have to be min-maxing. I can appreciate that you took a break from your anger, from your rant rant to thank the devs here, but asking for a Monster Hunter game with absolutely zero RNG is silly. It doesn't fit what the game is, what the games are, and if you actually got that, I bet the vast majority of people would just sit there yelling about how there is no endgame at all, and that hunts aren't worth doing anymore. Gallius? This update, weak as shit. Well, that was quite the eloquently worded rebuttal. It told us every one of your thoughts on the update and exactly why you feel this way. This is prime criticism. It tells you everything the person thinks should be different without insulting anyone. Oh, wait. What? That was the opposite of that? Yeah, come on, do better, be better. You are allowed to not like the update, but explain why you think so, or the updates will never become something you do like. It's not really a hard concept to grasp. Gallius? This review is out of spite. Please buff Longsword a bit too over-nerfed. Either make EI counter a tad stronger and only reduce by 1/3 instead of 1/2 like now, or remove the ring on Harvest Moon, aka I can walk around after charge it not stuck in the damn ring, and I'm willing to forego the damage buff for EI. GSY a bug evade to a bug charge is quick and is not stuck in location. Harvest Moon have to do the pose and stuck in the ring BS. aka Longsword now much better play solo than online at this point, and when you play offline you felt like it a shell of its formal self. Okay, we paraphrase a lot of that, skipping a lot of the details, but you still saw them on screen. Let's just start with the beginning. You said to yourself that that review is out of spite, and it takes about 2 seconds to guess why. You're a Longsword main, your weapon got nerfed, you're upset. The reason you're upset is because you refuse to adapt your playstyle. There's a part of this where you say you've been a Longsword main since 3U, and yet 90% of this is complaining about the EI counter being nerfed. But I've got news for you. This attack was only even added in Iceborne, and the playstyle based around it only really formed in Rise. You have plenty of experience, theoretically, playing Longsword not based around counters at all, and in Sunbreak that is an option. You can do the counter-focused playstyle with Harvest Moon, or the elemental-focused playstyle, because that may well be what you're missing in all of your complaints. Longsword in Sunbreak does extremely well with elements, and if you ignore that and only play for parries with raw attack, then yeah, you will absolutely feel nerfed to that degree. But I love that you start this by saying that EI counter only does 1/3 of the damage it used to, then halfway through you correct it to saying that it only does 1/2 of the damage it used to. If you can't even consistently stick to your own descriptors of the nerf, then why would anyone listen to your complaints about said nerf? You started by saying this was out of spite, and then you even make a comparison to an unrelated Greatsword Silkbind as if it somehow proves your point, but all it shows is that you're salty about Greatsword as a Longsword main. All this is just someone whose weapon was nerfed and is now unhappy about it. Well, guess what? Your weapon is still very good. It's great. It still plays great, it feels good to play, and it still kills things. If you truly enjoyed Longsword because of its playstyle and uniqueness, you wouldn't really have many complaints. Yes, things have changed a bit, but all it did was give you more options, really. If the only reason that you played Longsword before this was because it was stupidly strong, then yeah, sure, I can totally understand why you'd be upset about a nerf, but the vast majority of us play the weapons that we play because we actually enjoy playing them. Gallius? People complain about not enough original monsters being added, and the first update is 4 reskins. Well, firstly, that would be because Capcom doesn't exclusively listen to people with baseless complaints. The number of new monsters that we got in Sunbreak wasn't an unusual number at all for an expansion in a Monster Hunter game, and we also got a ton of returning monsters with their movesets totally revamped. Don't get me wrong, I would personally prefer a game that was exclusively new monsters. I mean, that would be fun, but that just isn't how the series works. It protects its legacy as it moves forward, bringing back monsters that people love from the past and updating them for modern technology of the series. As well, calling the monsters add in this title update reskins is just hilarious. What are they reskins of, exactly? Seething Basilgeuse has a different moveset to base Basilgeuse. Gold Rathian has a significantly different moveset to base Rathian. Silver Rathalos has a significantly different moveset to base Rathalos, and don't even get me started on the beauty of a fight that is Lucent Nargacuga. What you are saying here is the only thing you really care about with monsters is visuals. If it doesn't look visually different enough, you don't care. I say this because if Lucent Nargacuga looked like a rhino or something with the exact same moveset, you would be absolutely amazed, right? You'd be infatuated. It wouldn't be a reskin then, right? And that's your only complaint, apparently. These aren't Pink Rathian and Azure Rathalos. They are real, genuine variations on base monsters with particularly unique fights and movesets that, in my personal opinion, all feel incredible in Sunbreak. Complain all you want, but the argument here is just semantics. The fights are new, and they are fun, even if they are just variations on pre-existing monsters. And that's one of the great beauties of Monster Hunter. The monsters that we have aren't restricted to only being what they are. Just like real life, there are different versions of them that exist in different habitats or have come to existence through engaging in different circumstances. A Rathalos who has never seen peace and a Rathalos who has never seen war turn into very different monsters. And the fact that we have that represented with rare species and exotic species and variants is really cool compared to every slightly different idea needing a whole new visual creature to be put on too. Overall, I love new monsters, don't get me wrong, but there is a certain charm to these monster variations that many people, including myself, just don't quite get for a while when they first start playing Monster Hunter games. But the more time that I spend with it, the more that I appreciate the concept. I hope you've all gotten some enjoyment from me talking about these opinions that I've seen around the internet recently. They are what they are, but this is my attempt to both cool my own head after seeing them and turn something inherently negative into somewhat of a positive if you guys actually enjoy your time spent watching these. Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.